Continuing with the chapter on the molecular. Now coming to gene regulation, you all know that during sexual reproduction, two gametes fuse to form a diploid zygote, and from that diploid zygote an embryo and an individual is formed. All cell divisions that take place in a zygote is mitosis. That you know is an equational cell division. That means every cell of our body inherits an exact copy of the genes, that is the same set of genes or the genome. Then why is that? Certain cells like the neurons synthesize a specific set of proteins while the other cells secrete different proteins. So obviously you will say because they have different functions, that means all genes are not expressed. For example, in neurons, those genes will be expressed for the proteins it synthesizes. Rest will remain silent. Since all the genes are not expressed, there is regulation of gene expression. So what is gene regulation? Simply a process of switching on or turning on the genes so that a particular protein is transcribed, or switching off the genes and the particular protein will not be transcribed depending upon the requirement of in a cell. So gene regulation will ensure that appropriate genes are expressed at proper times, and that will help an organism to respond quickly to its environment. And as we have said just now, in higher organism, although every cell contains the same genome, however, different cells show different gene expression as they perform different biological functions. Even the development and differentiation of the embryo into an adult organism are the result of coordinated regulation of expression of several sets of genes. Now coming to the types of genes. On what basis? Basis of regulation. So we have two types of genes: constitutive or housekeeping genes and non-constitutive genes. Constitutive or housekeeping meaning those genes that are always required. So these genes are always expressed. If these are always expressed, hence their activity will not be regulated. For example, you have genes for glycolysis and citric acid cycle because this is always required in a cell to provide energy. Next category you have is the non-constitutive genes. Now these genes are not expressed all the time. They will be expressed whenever they are required, and hence their activity will be regulated. And this you are going to study later in the next video, the example of lac operon. Now what we have also two types of gene regulation. One is positive regulation and the other is negative regulation. Positive means transcription will occur. So in positive regulation there will be certain transcription factors that we call as activators. And these activators, when they bind to the promoter, they are going to help enable RNA polymerase to bind to the promoter. Then only transcription will start. So here is the figure for this. Normally in a transcription unit we have read there is a promoter, this is a coding sequence and the terminator. But next to the promoter there is a certain sequences in the DNA which we call as the operator. So in positive regulation, the activator will bind to the promoter. As a result, RNA polymerase will bind and start transcription. And if this activator will not bind to the promoter, then RNA polymerase cannot bind, there will be no transcription. Next is the negative regulation. In negative regulation, there will be a repressor protein, another protein that we call as a repressor protein, and that is going to bind to the operator. And when repressor protein binds to the operator, as a result, RNA polymerase cannot bind to the promoter. So there will be no transcription. And if the repressor is not there on the operator gene, then RNA polymerase can bind onto the promoter and transcription will take place. So these are the two types of gene regulation, and in the another video when we do lac operon, we'll see that it shows positive regulation as well as negative regulation. Now coming to the gene regulation in prokaryotes. So in case of prokaryotes, because these are simple organisms, gene regulation normally occurs at the transcriptional level. That too at the initiation site of transcription. What is the initiation site of transcription? That is at the promoter region. So as we discussed in the previous slide, this regulation will be with the help of two major proteins, that is the repressor and the activators. Repressor will bind to the operator region of the DNA, and hence as a result RNA polymerase cannot bind to the promoter region, and therefore there will be no transcription. Activators will bind to the promoter site, and as a result RNA polymerase binds to the promoter, transcription of the genes will take place. Now in case of eukaryotes, we find that gene regulation in eukaryotes is slightly more complex and occurs at various levels. First will be obviously the modification of the structure of the chromatin, because as you recall, the DNA is tightly coiled around the histone octamer forming nucleosomes. The nucleosomes are tightly packed to form the chromatin structure. So if we have methylation of the DNA, that means if methyl residues are added to the cytosine bases on the DNA, that will cause the chromatin to become transcriptionally inactive. So the genes present in those regions will not be transcribed. Hence this is the first level of regulation. But if we want transcription to take place, then we can have acetylation of the histone tails. If acetyl groups with the help of enzymes are attached to the histone tails, as a result they will become less positive. If they become less positive, then the bond between the histone and the DNA will weaken. So as a result DNA will uncoil and the RNA can access the DNA and start the process of transcription. So this is the first level where regulation can occur in the genes in case of eukaryotes. Second level, that is the transcriptional level. Here too we have the activators and the repressors that is going to bind to the DNA and will decide whether a primary transcript will be formed or not. So in case of activators, that's going to initiate transcription, and in case of the repressors, that can inhibit transcription. Then when a transcription occurs and an RNA is formed, a primary transcript of RNA is formed, that will be the processing level. Here is the third level where gene regulation can occur, because in that processing level you have is the capping and the tailing, you have is regulation of splicing, that is alternative splicing as we recall, depending upon which exons are spliced back or joined back to form a functional mRNA. So accordingly you will have different types of polypeptides formed, different types of mRNAs formed on that basis, and accordingly different types of polypeptides formed. So this is the third level where regulation can occur. Then when processing has occurred, then the mRNA leaves the nucleus and goes to the ribosomes into the cytoplasm. So this is the next level of regulation. If mRNA does not leave, suppose tailing does not occur, it does not leave the nucleus, obviously there will be no translation. But once mRNA leaves and gets attached to the ribosomes for translation level can also be regulated by regulatory proteins that can bind at the 5' UTR or at the 3' UTR and regulate gene expression. And there is also another class of RNAs that we call as microRNAs, and when they bind to the messenger RNA, they form a double-stranded RNA. As a result, they block translation, and these mRNAs also then degrade the mRNA, and obviously there will be no translation. So all the genes that are present on that mRNA will be silenced, that means it will not be expressed. So in the next slide we are showing this in the form of a figure, that is the various levels of regulation of gene expression. So this is the DNA. So you have the transcriptional control, a primary transcript will be formed. Then you have the processing, RNA processing control. So you have 5' cap, then 3' tail, poly A tail. Then you have RNA splicing, where the exons will be spliced back, introns will be removed. So this is another level of control in case of in eukaryotes. Then when processing occurs, mRNA will leave the nucleus. So this is RNA transport control. When it leaves the nucleus, it goes to the ribosomes for translation. You can have another regulation here at the translational level. And when the polypeptide is formed, again, then it undergoes, is the primary structure, it undergoes secondary, tertiary structure, further processing. And if these things also doesn't occur, then the protein cannot become functional. So also this is another level of where gene regulation can take place. So this was all about gene regulation, and in the next video we are going to take up will be lacoperon, where there's a simple example to show how gene regulation occurs and how genes will be switched on or switched off depending on the requirements of a cell. So thank you, and if you have any questions, please text me. God bless you all.